Hello and welcome to the Black Mind Podcast. This is going to be a heavy start, and it might be a quick show because
the guns are loaded and primed. We're about to go full broadside from fucking Jeff, and we're not going to get any points across until Jeff is done ranting for a couple minutes. Hello, I'm Allan, and joining us tonight is Josh. No, stop. I know you're about to run yourself hoarse for 10 minutes here, so take a moment, collect your thoughts before you start this. Josh, how are you tonight?
I'm good.
That's good. I'm good too. I'm excited for my long weekend. Are you excited for your long weekend?
I do have the weekend off, but it's not long weekend off.
I know that mine's gonna be filled with God of War.
You're gonna be playing God of War all weekend?
I need to let this rage go through me. It's either that or Destiny, and listening to soothing. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair.
Honestly,
fair.
yeah.
I know for a fact that all I'm doing this weekend is playing video games, going out with friends, and relaxing. I'm fucking set golden, and I'm excited to be going to fucking Animathon next week. Fuck, man, I'm excited. But the thing is, I'm kind of dreading what Jeff needs to talk about, because normally me and Jeff are pretty caught up on political stuff, and Josh just kind of quietly falls asleep in the background, as Josh is currently doing.
Josh, what game were you playing today?
I've actually installed Pokemon Quest on my cell phone, so I'll play some of that. And if I already took up all the time on my game, I'm just gonna boot up my DS and see what I can find on that.
That's fair. All right.
I would tempt to play Fortnite as you guys are talking.
If you play Fortnite in the background and we just hear suddenly from the background, fuck, and we're like, and Josh just came second. Awesome.
That would be honestly better than our conversation.
It will bring us back to reality.
The only thing I'm afraid of was stop the mic recording for somehow. But
yeah, I guess. Knowing your luck, it actually probably would.
Somehow.
Just fuck, guys, we gotta restart. What the fuck? No, we're not restarting. We're just going. We're gonna put you a beep boop at the start, and then we're gonna fucking turn off your audio. Are we ready? Are we ready to go into this mad rant that is Jeff about something that happened this week that I don't know what the fuck's going on, and I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's just...
All right.
I have a lot of...
Come on.
It's just Yeah, before this topic begins, I want to read the definition of racism, so that way then people understand where I stand and stuff like that.
All right. Well, it's going to be one of these ones. Woo!
It's going to be
this is
fantastic.
not where I expected this to go.
Prejudice, discrimination, or antagonization directed against someone of a different race based on the belief that one's own race is superior. Here, the belief that all members of each race possesses characteristics or abilities specific to that race, especially so as distinguished to it as inferior or superior to another races or races.
Okay, so we're starting from this
now
point.
Now we got that out of the way. Okay, New York Times. I got a quick question to ask you.
Oh, you're gonna talk about this. Ooh, okay. You know what?
When you hire an editor who has said those things, and you prove Donald Trump's points right, do I have permission to sit there and call you guys out and say that you're adding fuel to a fire that doesn't need to be added to.
Okay.
That we know that 2014 was bad. We don't need a fucking rocket. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to sit there and see those things. But we also understand that, maybe sitting there and saying shit on the web without fucking covering it up is not a fucking way to do your job. Maybe sitting there and showing total inepticism towards other people just because of some biological difference does not fucking give you a right to act that way. And that's coming from me. And my personal opinion on racism is that, it's very hard to not be racist. It's very hard to not find something funny when it's something stupid. There is black comedy, or dark humor as it's called, that's very racist. Is every comedian racist? It's absurd. I just find these people, it's like, and it's funny because now they're being held to the same standard that we were being held to, or a group of people were being held to back in 2014. This isn't fucking new. Karma's a bitch.
All right.
And I really would appreciate it if I don't understand
Jeff.
how
All right.
somebody who's that.
Stop. Pause.
Yes.
Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. You're gonna hate me for this comment, and you're gonna dislike me. New York Times hired a racist. You know what? New York Times allowed to hire a racist. You know what
they are.
You know what the thing is? They're allowed to continue to say what they are. Just don't expect people to buy your product anymore. That's all I've got to say on the topic, and that's how you should roll with it. Tell people if you don't like the fact that this person's hired, don't go after the job. Go after their rice bowls. Break the rice bowls. Destroy which was it? The New York Times?
Yeah.
You gotta remember that if you go after the New York Times, just stop buying what they're putting out. As is what currently is going on.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, that person is just gonna not be important. You need to realize that while yes, she's a massive racist, and I will freely 100% agree with you on that because holy fuck, dude, she's racist. But at the same time, for me, I can't argue against her not being there. And I can't.
You can't.
I can't.
No.
Because
you can't.
I cannot. Because it's the matter of free will and the matter of free speech. She's allowed to say what she wants, and you need to let that be spoken. The social consequences of her saying this will be that she'll be ostracized by society, or nobody will less people will speak to her. That's the response. And you know what? Your anger is justified, but misplaced, in my opinion.
Oh, no, you're 100% correct. It is completely misplaced. The only reason why I'm mad is because the New York Times didn't need to comment.
Did they comment?
And they did comment.
Oh,
and
fuck. I didn't hear about that.
If they had just sat there and said, we're not commenting on the situation because we feel as if that commenting on a situation that is, in general, toxic, retarded, and completely out of our control. This person wasn't working for us then. Mm-hmm. It's not. It's exactly the same thing. Of if they had just not commented, I would have not been having these issues. And the only reason why I'm so mad about this thing is because it's like you don't. You are what you put into the world. At the end of the day.
Yes.
If you choose to be someone who is so filled with hate, and that at the end of the day is really the problem, then I'm sorry, but you are not someone who I have to sit there and deal with. You are somebody who I can easily just ignore if you are somebody who chooses to put hate into the world. And you're right. I wasn't supporting the New York Times then. This isn't going to suddenly drive me to support New York Times. As a matter of fact, her being the tech editor makes me laugh with snark because of the fact that I know for a fact that another stupid person who's going to sit there and say, oh, Apple didn't make a product that's rose gold. Instead of concerning themselves with the i9 processor is thermal throttling due to the MOSFETs that are running in the computer that are weak, not designed for an i9 processor. It's not the cooling system. It's the fact that your computer components are not being cooled sufficiently. It's like, it just angers me because it's like, man, like, you could have easily had avoided this entire situation if you guys had just sat there and made it one comment very clear. And it's like, the New York Times is not a company that I'm going to sit there and say Donald Trump is right about. I think that they're a very accomplished newspaper. I think they're very skilled.
Yeah.
But I think that this hiring invokes a lot of it's very divisive.
Oh, it will be. It will be for a while.
And I think that like, when the actions of one individual is so divisive, it's like, it's better just to not comment. And I think that it's very fair to sit there and say that she is in fact a racist.
I agree with that.
It's not hard to be a racist nowadays. It's really not, because, like, dude, like, really not that hard. It's really hard to, like, I find it really hard to be a sexist because all you have to really sit there and do is like make a comment about women and how they're equal and stuff like that. And apparently that makes you a sexist nowadays, according to some people. I'm joking, of course, but
sarcasm, ladies and gentlemen.
Sarcasm. But it's like I just don't find, like, it angers me. It really does. And it's disappointing because it's like, these people have jobs. And I'm sitting here going back to school to get a job.
Mm-hmm.
To get a job that I know I'm going to be better at than some people. To get a job that I know for a fact that I know a little bit more than some people at. And stuff like that. I'm a lot stronger in some aspects and a lot weaker in others. But a job nonetheless. I don't understand how somebody like that can get a job. And going and tying this into another topic, I think that we never talked about or touched on, the ArenaNet firings. It's like somebody like that got a job at a company like ArenaNet.
Yep.
Like, how? How did somebody that stupid, who can't understand that attacking someone online, doesn't matter if they're a customer, doesn't matter if they're not a customer, is bad optics. It's just infuriating, because I'm watching my industry sit there and blow up before my eyes, before I've even made my mark, and it's just
dying in front of you.
It's like this is the reason why YouTube beats people like that. It's like, you don't see somebody like who's an Apple person on YouTube. You don't see Gamers Nexus go crazy on somebody and sit there and start yelling and screaming about somebody and calling them black people. You don't see that. You don't see Linus Sebastian on his own personal Twitter doing that, do you? And it's like, I think that this is a time where we should implement a rule called the Golden Rule back into society. And I think that if I was Twitter's management, I would sit there and say, did she throw gasoline onto a fire? Good. Let her boil in it for 6 months. And then when she sits there and calls us to do something, we'll just post the Golden Rule. Like, hey, you did this. We're not responsible. You did these actions.
Yep.
It's not our job in order to cover your ass. But no, I think that people need to start treating others the way that they want to be treated. If you want to be treated like some sort of two-nose bitch or bastard, go right ahead. I encourage you to. As a matter of fact, I hope you do. Because you know what? You'll make my life a lot easier when I fucking figure out who you are. And I sit there and I go, well, of course you did this. I'll treat you with respect. and I'll try to be nice. But when you sit there and you try to attack me, I will make sure that you get every single thing that you did and more. And I'm getting really sick and tired of those people. I'm getting sick and tired about how they sit there and defend themselves via the guise of social justice. Not that they understand what that means. They're just tools, cogs in a machine. And they love using people, idiots from my generation, as their fucking soldiers.
Yep.
And I'm fucking sick and tired of it. So, to Sarah Jeong, I hope your job goes really fucking well. I won't support you. I won't buy your paper. I won't even read your articles. Well, I might, just to mock them. But when you sit there and you attack somebody, I hope to God that when the knives come for you, I hope to God that you listen to this show. And I hope to God that the golden rule, you start following the golden rule. Because I'm white. I have friends who are black. I have friends who are Asian. I have friends who are fucking green. Not actually. Just using it as a point. I work with people who have rare diseases. I've had my heart stepped on again and again and again. I've seen ailments that you would only dream of. And you sit there on your high throne and you think the world is, you're so oppressed because of some stupid reason. I hope to God that you eventually learn humility. And I hope it's sooner rather than later. Because when you're 80 years old, and I'm sitting there going, I lived a good life. I put a lot of good things into the world, I like to think. I put my soul into my projects. Put my heart into my work. What will you be saying? Anyways, unlikely that she's going to hear this.
Yep. All right.
I'm
Jeff?
and it's just like done. I'm done. I'm done.
All right. Deep breaths. Get ready to play your catharsis game later. We'll have more talks about this at another time.
I'm probably going to hop into the other chat, and Noah's going to be like, "Why are you so angry? You shouldn't be angry. You won PUBG last night." It's like, ugh.
This will make me win 4 mores. However, what I'm about to say is going to make you a little bit more upset, because Tommy Robinson got released from prison.
Okay.
Yeah, this is good. This is a heavy topic list this week.
What the fuck?
He has lost weight because
of course he has.
Because you got to remember, in British prisons, the prisoners make the food, and remember he got moved to a majority Muslim population prison. And he couldn't leave his cell, so those cellmates would bring him the food. So he would be refusing to eat any of it because he knew he couldn't guarantee that it was safe. He had to remain in his cell at all times, basically, for the fear of being attacked. But the good news is, however, and this is actually 100% fantastic news to hear, the Lord Justice in England said that the trial, that the charges against Tommy are fair. They are fair, because he did break one of his bonds. However, he said the trial was unjust, the sentencing was unjust. The fact that it was literally like falsified points against him to get him into jail, and the treatment of him was unjust, means that all the things related to all him being in prison has been waived, and he's gonna get retried, and it's gonna be and I'm going to choose the judge now, because this needs to be fair. And as everybody has started to point out, it's like, yeah, for the fact that the state of England, where the true measures of like liberalism and honest like court laws and stuff like that came into position hundreds of years ago because of William the Conqueror and other great kings and nobles and stuff like that. For him to be that expediently charged and stuff like that, and now for Chief Justice in England to say no, this was unjust, literally kind of like points to the fact that heads up, boys, this Tommy Wiseau is actually an enemy of the state, which is terrifying to hear. And the fact that he's done like I think maybe 6 or 7 different interviews with people online through like again he's spoken with Thomas Carl Tuckerson. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. He's spoken with a few people online, and like the way he talks about the fact that he's been in prison, fucking is scary. And I'm like, Before this, I couldn't guarantee I couldn't be 100% behind Tommy because like the fact
nobody
that,
really can.
Well, no. Initially, the thing is, a lot of people were behind Tommy because they didn't want they wanted the way because of how the trial happened. Some people pointed this out really quickly at the start of the situation. Like, yes, he actually straight up broke his bonds related to his release by going to the front of the courthouse and reporting with information that shouldn't have been reported. So he could actually still be charged for that stuff because England doesn't have anti-recharge laws like hearing down in the States.
Mm-hmm.
But the big thing is again that the fact that Tommy's trial lasted all of like an hour, and he didn't get to go back to have he didn't get a chance to call up his lawyer because they gave him the false pretense of no, it's just a quick hearing, don't worry about it, and they gave him then they assigned him a really quick shoddy fucking defense lawyer, and then threw him in jail, and then transfer him to this high population majority of Muslims and stuff like that. And the fact that happened, and the fact that now we've had the Lord Chief Justice actually like turn around and go, no, guys, this is actually like the worst kind of situation we're in now, kind of brings credence to the fact that like, well, shit, this is England now. And yeah.
Is it just me, or can I say my personal opinion on this?
Go for it.
What the fuck, man? What the fuck?
Western civilization is collapsing on itself.
I wouldn't say that, but
No,
I would say that.
You gotta realize that a lot of Western civilization is built off of the way I've looked at Western civilization is it's been built off 3 countries. France, which has always been the weakest of the 3. Not because of military, but because, well, they tend to lean very hard to the left, but they're also very secular, so that's actually a good thing about them. England, because England actually is like the birthplace of like proper legislation, the modern democracies, and spread like English civilization and like Western civilization around the world, which is why like India, like Pakistan, South Africa, like New Zealand, Australia, China, Japan have these very strong parliamentary systems that you kind of like stop, you look at it and go, that makes sense. And then you look, and then we also have the United States being the third pillar that I always point to, being like that is Western civilization, because America borrowed a lot of their stuff because they are English descendant from all that stuff from the American Revolution and stuff like that. They are very much a third pillar because they incorporate new justice laws. They have they like unalienable rights, stuff like that. And like you look at all 3 of them, like you take stuff from all 3 of them, you get the perfect you'd probably get a really good country. Mind you, Canada is not close enough to any 3 of them because unfortunately we're almost to the point of being like England. But at the same time, you look at these 3 and look what they're going through. France is on the verge of fucking civil collapse because of how because of how fucking afraid of their people they are, and the fact that like there's literally riots in the streets every other week. England has problems with its justice system right now because you can see it, like people are getting away with fucking like gang rapes and stuff like that.
Well, it's because the countries themselves don't want to enforce. I don't want to sit here and comment on this and stuff like that, but like it's because the countries are. France's big problem and stuff like that is that a lot of the people protest daily.
Yep.
And they demand a lot of things from the state.
Mm-hmm. Again, that's the reason why I said they lean very hard to the left.
Yeah, it's not the worst thing in the world, in some sense of the word, but in other words, it is the worst thing that you can imagine, and then some. England's big problem is that, and this is just me hearing grapevine stuff and thinking, England's big problem is that a large portion of their country lately has been migrants. And have you watched, there's a video online where Jeremy, who is it called?
Jeremy Corbyn?
Jeremy Corbyn of the Quartering, interviewed a police officer.
Not Jeremy. Jeremy, I know who you're talking about though. Jeremy from the Quartering.
Yeah, the Quartering. He basically, and what did he say? He said something about like how they will be doing write-ups and in the process of charging these people, and then they'll get assigned to a different case, and then these social justice warriors will sit there and literally throw out their fucking crimes and stuff like that, and it's like, dude, that's not an honest police system. That's literally like we refuse to acknowledge crimes made by another group of people. It's like, dude, that's wrong. That's legitimately wrong. It's just weird. People, it's like when your ideology is gripping you that much, like maybe they shouldn't be given power.
Surprise! Well, you get it. I'm going to point this out. If their ideology is gripping them that much, they don't know the ideology is gripping them that much.
Well, I think that's just my opinion and stuff like that. When that's the kind of behavior that you're seeing being pulled in Britain and stuff like that, where a gag order is put on a trial because they don't want, basically, the reason why the gag orders are put on trials and stuff like that is they don't want what happened with O.J. Simpson to happen in the UK and stuff like that.
Which is fair.
Okay,
that's fair.
Fine, because O.J. Simpson committed a crime
and got the fuck away with it.
And then there was a book that came out said, I didn't murder my wife, but if I did, this is how I would have done it. And in the book, there was step-by-step guides of how he did these crimes, of how he killed his wife. And it's like, dude, you actually murdered your wife.
And he got the fuck away with it. Surprise!
And he got away with it. And it's like, O.J. Simpson is one of those people who, like, you can't really admire. Well, you can admire. He was a great football player and stuff like that. But, like, it's like, holy shit, man.
Yeah. No.
Holy shit.
I get that. However, I think we should move away from this topic because now me and you are rambling and we're going to collapse in on ourselves into create a neutron star out of it and power the universe for the next 1,000 years.
Well, I just want to say this about Tommy Wiseau and stuff like that. It's like,
Robinson.
I don't like Tommy Robinson. I don't like him. I really don't. I don't think that he's a good I don't think he's a very good creator. I don't think that he does a lot of things. I think that some of his opinions, well held, are completely out of line. I think that he does things a little bit too brashly. I think he goes overboard way too quickly. The way that thing happened just reads to me like, we have a problem, let's get rid of it.
Mm-hmm.
If they had honestly done right by the trial and stuff like that, it wouldn't have been as big as an issue as it was. The major thing I have to sit there and say is this is another issue with Britain that comes after Count Dankula, which is, that was fucked.
Mm-hmm.
That was fucked. And like it's like no, like these are not okay. Like you gotta sit there and you sometimes gotta roll things back a bit. I like how Britain's becoming more 1984 by the day, though.
Yeah. But again, we're gonna get off this topic because we're neglecting Josh.
We kind of have to. Josh, are you dead?
What? Huh?
Mm-hmm.
The joke doesn't work. The joke doesn't work when we know that you're still there.
Mm-hmm.
However, but I'm going to talk about video games and stuff like that. What are you playing, Josh?
It's just Pokemon Quest and on the Android.
Oh, how is it?
It's okay for an Android game. It's pretty good. It's a cell phone game, so it can only go so far with it. But basically, the main gimmick is, hey, you go to this island and you're gonna go discover Pokemon. Hooray! And then you have a starter Pokemon to start your adventure. And then you slowly get resources of like these mushrooms and acorns and blueberries and all this junk. And at your camp, you have this giant cooking pot. So you can throw all these recipe items in this cooking pot. And then, depending on the combination of items you have in there, you get like either really good recipe, medium recipe, a really spectacular recipe, or whatever. And depending on the color of the items that you put in there, it'll also be like, oh, Pokemon that like yellow are going to show up with this item or this special soup that you made. And then Pokemon that love the yellow will show up and they'd be like, oh, it turns out this dragon Pokemon showed up. You're like, yay! I could throw this guy on my team so I can go out there and murder more Pokemon, leveling them up, get more recipes, keep doing it over and over, lather, rinse, repeat. It's just a simple quest game, basically. And the art style is that of I want to say it's kind of a vector, very cubey.
It's
very robot. Yeah,
it's voxel graphics, I think.
Yeah, I want to say it's voxel too, because it's very squared, and you can still tell what the Pokemon are despite this the squareness of everything, and yeah, and right now I just got a team of a Horsey, a Charmander, and a Rattata, and we're kicking ass right now. It's great. Although, just like any other Android game, it does have a hard timer of, like, you can only move so many steps today. And it's like, well, I want to move more steps. And the game's like, nah, man. Go take a breather. Go walk outside. I'm like, no! Don't want to walk outside! Yeah. And then the game's like, nah, go walk outside. And I'm like, okay. And, that's my full review.
Of a game that you played like 4 hours of.
Yep. It's like it's so far it's just, again, like, go kill Pokemon, you get items, you might get another cooking pot so you can get more Pokemon and you can level up those Pokemon, and it's the same cycle over and over. And it's a cycle of like, hey, you got time to kill at a bus stop? Here you go. And it's Pokemon. And what else? Well, that's about it. It's this, like, oh, and the combat is that of they run around, like, basically they're walking around on a path just by themselves, so they know immediately where to go next and where to aim at, which Pokemon to aim at and stuff like that. The thing that you're doing is telling them what attacks they should do at certain moments. So it's like they will do an auto attack every 3 seconds or something, but then you can say, hey, do your fire spin attack now. And then you see a big cyclone show up out of nowhere and it just hit like a fuck ton of Pokemon and they get big damage.
Yeah, massive damage.
Yeah, massive damage. And in each Pokemon has either 1 or 2 different attacks. And depending on what the Pokemon is, and depending on what type it is, it will have different status effects and stuff like that on their attacks and stuff like that. And I'm having some fun with that of like, oh, maybe this Rattata will have Hyper Fang or something, or maybe this fire Pokemon will have, like, I don't know, instead of Roar, like freaking Vulpix I have, maybe I can get another one. It's like, oh, maybe this one will have Flamethrower and it'll be really strong or some shit. And yeah, it's just, I don't know, it's exploration, constantly find more Pokemon, get more recipes, kill more Pokemon, level up those Pokemon, lather, rinse, repeat. That's my elevator pitch on Pokemon Quest.
I mean,
you like grinding?
It could be
lather, rinse,
way
repeat.
worse, and you know it. I mean, it sounds a lot like Pokemon Go, but at the same time, not kind of like Pokemon Go.
Fair.
It's just more cuter and a lot more lazier. Like the space are a lot more pixely, a lot more, I would say, cuter pixely and just lazier.
Yeah.
Of like, you just sit on your phone, you could just plow away at it, which I like because I don't have to walk anywhere. I know that's the one thing that made me stop with Go is as soon as they put the hard stop to the what was it, the website mapping of where the Pokemon will show up, I was like, you know what? I don't care anymore. And I stopped, and it felt great. And yeah, it's just Pokemon Quest is fun. And wow, what? I know I wrote some other things on here. Oh yes. I was like, I want to play more Fortnite. How about I just give like a little more review of like what you should do when you want to try to get to the higher ranking people on Fortnite, or at least my strategies. It's probably not the best strategies because the other people who play Fortnite, they play it more arcadey and more. Or switching into Fortnite for next topic of how do you play? What's the meta for Fortnite? It's you play like Quake. You get real good. You figure out your strategies. You build really well. And if you get lucky enough, you get a jump pad and you do surprise a motherfucker and you shoot him in the face with a shotgun. And that's about it. Although for my strategy is lamer, and it's you hide. You hide. You hide. You hope no one sees you. You hide. You make pot shots at the other guy to get paranoid. And you hide. And you hide. And you get about to be third or second place. And you go, all right, I'm going to taunt and lose. And that's my strategy. Just get to about second or third place and go, all right, I had a good game. Let's taunt our way out of this. I'm sure like better people like Ninja and shit would just they grind away to get all the or not all the items, but like grind away to get all the resources, get all the building material, and basically just make a tower to heaven and hope you have a decent mouse you can peck people off with a sniper rifle and stuff like that. But sadly, like I just don't play like. I play some competitive games and such, but I am not that good. So I'm always have to choose the plan B or C or D options in those games of like, what's another viable option I could do? And I always go with the weirdest one possible, which is hide like a motherfucker. Oh yes, and they also put in like a whole fuck ton of new map locales, and the last time they updated Fortnite with their new season, which is actually some really neat new map locales. Like they put in Paradise. What was it called? Paradise. Whatever. It's a desert city. Some one or two skyscrapers with low bungalow houses with no basements. And it's interesting because it's low. And all of the chests are kind of open out in the open, and people always want to land somewhere that's high above the ground, like as high as possible. Yeah. So everyone just tries to land on the hotel that's there. And it's just a fucking shit show because every time I land close to anywhere to that, I just see like 10 people on top of that freaking hotel, and I'm like,
"Come to us!
None of you are gonna live."
Piece of meat, come to us and suffer.
Exactly, because all 10 of those people that land there is like, "Oh, I'm gonna get a sniper rifle. It's gonna be awesome," but I'm like, A, you're gonna get a handgun. B, it's gonna be a shitty handgun, and C, you're not gonna live through this. Even if you jump off the roof and you somehow have a quarter of health, you're not gonna live through this. Like, don't go there ever. Like, frick. Last time I even think about landing on the roof there was like, I think I'm the only one here. I'm the only one here. I'm gonna loot the shit out of this place.
That's the reason why, like, when you start hearing like, oh, this area is starting to get popular, you go, and I'm going to avoid that area like the plague.
Oh yeah.
I think my favorite news was because I play World of Warships and stuff like that, and I'm playing one match, and I'm playing a really slow ship, so no matter where I go, there's gonna be people there. And I'm just watching how this battle is starting to progress out. People are starting to spread out. I could see that the middle's a little bit weak, but I'm like, I'm going to go north because I can still hit middle from the fucking north. So I turn north and I'm making my way north. And I'll just kind of like look at middle. I just see all the ships in middle just suddenly turn north and south. And I'm like, oh, nobody's going middle. They were just going there to just screen and then pale off. And I'm like, So I just promptly turn and I'm like, I guess I'm going middle by myself. And I just kind of park myself towards the middle and just stop. And I'm just like, all right, I don't know if I have anybody spotting for me, and I just immediately coming around the corner is a fucking destroyer. I'm like, and broadside, fire now, blow the destroyer out of the water. And the destroyer's like, huh, I thought it was normally cruisers who hit around the corners. I'm like, I was here, I'm like, I only park here because like nobody else is in the middle. And he's like, oh. And the rest of the enemy team's like, oh, you have nobody in the middle. I'm like, yeah, I'm the only one here.
So you guys like cowering. That's good.
And
You're not like blind soldiers who just run into battle and die horribly.
No, I'm not in the Imperial Guard in that game. I'm the Imperial Guard player in Hearts of Iron 4, where I'm just like, hang on, I'll get the image. I'll see if I still have it. But it's just basically like, oh look, hey Krieg, we need 10 regiments. You needed 20 regiments. Where do you want these 35 regiments? And it's just like, whoa, calm down.
Can we quickly talk about so anyways, like, sorry and stuff like that, but yeah, like being an Imperial Guardsman, like, that is, Josh, you're 100% correct. Like, most people play that game, but like your strategy is like very much like an easy way to get up to like the final 10 and the final 20.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
but
it's like cower Mewtwo. It's like, no, go and kill.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. It's like Mewtwo is kind of right in his regard because you need to know how to.
Let's re-say that. Mewtwo.
I was gonna say. Yes, Mewtwo is correct in his regard because you need to get good at the close-up combat and figure out your hotkeys. Because as soon as you figure out your hotkeys and you figure out what to deal with in the close range combat, you will murder a lot of people. Like, a lot of people. They just freak out, don't know what to do, and just die. I'm one of those people. Whenever someone just comes around a corner and they're like super goddamn close to my face, I hit the jump button immediately, jump over their heads, and hope to God I can get to the shotgun first before he did. That's a good half of my strategy for a lot of it is bunny hop a little bit and hope he doesn't kill me.
By the way,
shit.
By the way, hope you guys like the image.
Yeah, I saw it. I'm not happy about it. Jeff, stop.
It's sad because
there should
true.
There should be a third image underneath it with Korean women, and it'd be like a really one of those attractive hot dudes that look like a female.
Oh, like a boy band?
No, like there's what was it? A contest of like the males that look like females.
Oh, traps.
This should be the third one of like hot Koreans, and it's like actually a male.
Well, that's the thing, right? Okay. Anyways.
Yeah.
So who's all excited about what was it? Oh, so Gen Con is happening this weekend. Gen Con. I gotta talk about Gen Con real quick because I'm fucking excited. And I know what happened. We're not going to talk about that because at this point it's been dealt with. It's non-reason to talk about. However, what I'm talking about is the fact that for Star Wars Armada, which is a tabletop game that I play, and I play it fairly regularly. It's just been these past 2 months that I've been just too busy to play. They announced their next wave, and the next wave is a single ship. and it's 30 inches long, and it's a $200 model, and I'm like, yes, I want one, because they've announced the Super Star Destroyer for Star Wars Armada, and I'm like, yes, bring it to me, give me my sustenance. And I'm just super excited for having this ship in my fleet, because now I will have like 6 Star Destroyers and then the Executor in the back, and I'm like, my collection, it grows. Oh,
Can I make a quick comment about something though?
sure.
So, World of Warcraft new expansion. Sylvanas commits genocide.
Yeah, I heard about that.
That is, wow.
By the way, that's the guy.
What the fuck?
By the way, that's the guy holding up the model of it.
Oh boy, that's big.
That is a big ship.
That's a huge model.
You can ram that up somebody. You can ram up my Imperial fleet. Catch my drift. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. No, no. It's a bad joke. Shut up.
Boo.
Boo. Sylvanas, you can ram that up Sylvanas' butt. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Well, okay. Well, here's the thing with what's going on. Here's the thing that's going on with
Sylvanas commits genocide.
Yeah.
That's really what she does. This is on top of Sylvanas being an evil, all-around evil person, where she has done
actually
chemical weapon.
Like the thing is a person I actually like who plays WoW, and she's like, wow, I don't like what they're doing with Sylvanas, because she wasn't already she was kind of like an anti-hero initially, from the way it heard. It's like, yeah, she used chemical weapons, but she did it for these reasons to win this. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense, because she's thinking in a military tactical sense. But then I watched the new trailer where it's following, what's his name? Shrunfang? And the troll guy, like, convincing him to come back to the Horde.
Yeah.
And I'm like watching this scene, and like the quick glimpses of what Shyvana's doing in that first scene where she's burning a city. I'm like, no,
she burns the world tree, man. She commits genocide.
Yeah. And I'm like,
it's like, wow.
We are.
She's a bad person.
I'm actually like just straight up. It's like, oh man. And what makes it even worse is, like, from what I've heard, is that she used to be like a really fucking like a really cool character, from what I've heard. And
she had a metal bikini armor.
Not anymore. Which I'm
not anymore.
I'm okay, but the thing is, you look at the new armor, you're like, I can get behind that armor though.
What, the new armor?
Yeah, I like the new armor.
I think her new armor is I don't. Here's the thing: is like the metal bikini armor was weird and questionable, and like the one thing I would really like and stuff like that is if somebody made, if anyone ever does, well, we should do this. If we should have it where like a character wears metal bikini armor, and the protagonist goes, nice, just like has a claymore, looks at the claymore, goes one shot, and just like cleaves that person in half. Because that's like the fatal flaw with metal bikini armor. Let's be honest. It's like that midriff is. That's also the fatal flaw with most like magical girls. It's like you stick them with a sharp object and they're just gone. Like gun works better. But like my big issue is like you have a character who literally commits genocide because she gets her memories back, and she murders an entire race of people because she gets her memories back and it pisses her off. Okay. That's bad. Like that's indefensible.
Like, yeah, no, like, the thing is for me is she's a really cool character. She's awesome. Like, all the Horde characters are awesome. But the thing is, the Alliance. But she's an old character from the original game. Whereas you look at the Alliance characters, and you're like, no, these guys are unadulterated badasses because they've been developed over the course of time. You've seen Alliance characters get killed off in ways that you were just like, what? Like a good example, like the king of the Alliance for a while, like
Varian.
How he just like he's leading the charge, and the horde gets like the horde kind of betrays them by accident because
Or the horde is either like, oh, we either all die or we run away.
Yeah.
Let's run away. It's like if they had sent a messenger saying there's nothing we could have done.
Yeah.
It was either our lives or Varian's life. And we couldn't.
And that's the thing is like I have no qualms about it. It's like it's a really clever thing is where like there's a breakdown in communications and like the attack flounders, but Valerian does like fucking just like pull back the troops. I'm gonna hold this position, and like him and his honor guard hold that position while everyone else evacuates. I'm like, and this is the reason why the Alliance is so much more mature than the Horde, because the Horde characters are all about like anarchical kind of individuality, and the Alliance is more about like you're an individual, but you're supporting the whole, and that's the difference. That's how I've always noticed the Horde and the Alliance. The Alliance is a collection of a bunch of nations.
Yeah,
and that's
it's like how Anduin and stuff like that this time around is like, okay, very defensible. Like you can defend Anduin's actions and stuff like that. And it's like you've seen him develop from a young priestess, a young boy to a mature adult to a king.
Yeah,
he wields his father's weapon.
And the initial trailer scene for him when he's like leading combat, he's fucking petrified. He can't lead, and so like he's like, you know what? I'm gonna fall back on my priestly duties. Fucking mass heal, and it's just like, whew.
Yeah, he's not a
Horde,
leader.
And then I love the faces on all the Horde characters. We're like, we fucking got this. Fucking mass heal. Oh fuck, we forgot the High King is a fucking priest.
I'm gonna go grab my dog right now, but yeah, like it's like here's a good question. It's like, can you defend actions of that caliber? And it's like, no, you can't.
With Sylvanas, no, you can't. And I wonder if they're setting it up for a point later on where I hope that as much as I love orcs, as much as I love the Tarn and the fucking trolls,
I would love it if what they did was they killed her off.
I would actually kind of prefer the Horde to just straight up lose.
I think that they have to kill her. I think that what this is leading to is I think it's going to lead to the old soldier, the guy who's always been number one orc, being like, no, Sylvanas, you've gone too far, and just killing her.
Yeah, no. Here's the thing. That's the thing, though, is with the Battle of Azeroth, this is the final expansion. They've said this multiple times. This is the final one of this game series.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is the way it's being led up to is, I think personally, what I think they should do is the Horde ends with the death of Sylvanas. The Horde is decimated and destroyed, and the few hero characters that we see in the trailers and stuff like that, like, yeah, man, I am here to fight for the Horde. The new troll character and Sharntooth and what all that. Like the Alliance looks at them as like, okay, here's the choice: either we destroy you because you've literally committed genocide, or you guys incorporate into the Alliance. And that's how it should end, is like kind of on a cliffhanger. And then they should go back and make a fucking start Warcraft 4 and like, oh look, we're picking off from where the fucking games ended. Hey! I'd be like, awesome, fucking Blizzard going back to its roots.
That's the thing, right? It's like, I don't like MMOs as a game concept.
I really don't. I don't mind them. They're not a bad. They aren't a bad thing. They are a good thing.
This has like over 10 years of content in it.
It's almost 20.
It's almost 20 years. Wait, when did World of Warcraft come out?
I think it came out in 2001. I'm gonna double check.
Oh, jeez. No, 2004.
Well, okay, so we are at 15 years then.
Mm-hmm. It's like as of 15 years. That's a pretty good run.
As of, I think, December. Wait, it came out. World of Warcraft. I actually kind of want to like double check this. Wiki. Initially released back in November 23rd. So as of November 23rd, this will be a 14-year-old game as of the Nova. And like, here's the thing: it's not supposed to end till like the end of fucking 2019, from the rumors that I've heard.
Yeah.
Which
like,
is like, holy shit, dude. Wait, how is World of Warcraft the third best selling? What?
Yep.
Okay, because Minecraft and Players Unknown Battlegrounds fucking beats it out.
Yeah.
Which is okay. I'm fine with that. Diablo 3, The Sims, StarCraft, Gary's Mod, Roller Coaster Tycoon, Half-Life 2, Half-Life, Civilization 5, Sims, Guild Wars. Jesus Christ. Oh, wow. Dawn of War is actually like in the top, like, wow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13,
Top, like
14,
it's
15, 16,
where
17,
does
18, 19,
man
20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Wow, it's in the top 30. Fuck. Wow. Wow.
mm-hmm.
I'm not even mad. That's fucking impressive for a game that came out like 2 months before. Like, and mind you, that's including all the expansions. But fuck, man, that's damn, dude. Wow. Actually, that's pretty funny because if you look at like the top, like a lot of the top games on this list, a lot of them are from like early 2000s. Wow, man. I'm fucking blown away by that. I'm sorry. Wow.
Wow.
Josh, name a game that you liked. I'm actually kind of curious if I can see if I can find one of yours.
Game I liked?
Yeah.
I don't
MMO. Speaking of MMOs,
You gonna be going to play Overwatch or?
I played Destiny.
Oh,
I did the raid.
Oh, boy.
You continue to hurt yourself. How was the raid actually?
You know what?
Not all that bad actually.
It's really good, especially when you have a 380, 80 and a 370 leading the charge. It's like you get up to a certain point, you're like, okay, like this is, I understand like all the things, and then like your guide is just like, no, you just do this. It's like, what? It's like, yeah, you just do this. Oh, it's really that easy? Yeah. Oh, okay, I'll do that. And then you get up to that point, and you're like, huh, that was really easy. It was a little too easy. And then you're sitting there and you're like, I don't understand why this was so easy. Like, I gotta be honest about that and stuff like that. It's like, so I did the raid.
It was okay.
It was great. You know what? I think that it might be some of my favorite content in the game because it was just like, so Callus is such a cool character.
Oh, really?
As like yeah, he's a really cool character. He's like, oh, I was the emperor, and then Gaul threw me for a loop. I treated him like my own son. He beat the shit out of me, and then exiled me from my planet. So I seized control of the Cabal. I encourage you to do this. And then he's basically teaming up with humanity.
Yeah.
So, and at the end, you get up to the thing, and the way that he's just sitting on his fucking like throne. He's like, "Yes, I'm the emperor," and he drinks molten planets because, of course, he does.
Yep.
And then you're like, of course he does. And we literally beat him in like one damage phase, like 8 times. And it's like, it's just so well done. And like, I begin to one of the major things that I think is a really big problem with Destiny 2 is like, so, Josh, did you watch the Giant Bomb does Destiny raid, and it took them 3 weeks in order to actually fucking do the raid?
I saw the highlight reel.
Yeah, it took them 3 fucking weeks in order to do the raid. I don't know how many times. It's like when you have a guy, it's like super easy. It's like 3 hours of like actual content. But it's like, it didn't feel like 3 hours. It actually felt like 20 minutes or an hour. And the hardest part was, it was like when your guide sits there and explains to you, like, yeah, this is what you're supposed to do for the entire raid. It's like, oh, that makes simple use and stuff like that. Like, one of the funniest parts is like, of the giant bomb raid. It's like there's a void world where you go to the void world and they're like, okay, dog, cup, and axes, and then you knock out sun. And then their wall gets lined up, and then they get dragged down, and then they have to kill a bunch of skulls and stuff like that. The way that actually works and stuff like that, it's like, oh, this is really cool and unique and interesting. It's like unique. I really like the way that they handle this. I don't know. That's my personal opinion and stuff like that. I think that one of the worst things about Destiny 2's raid and stuff like that is like they introduce dogs. Like dogs is really convenient and weird.
Like doggos?
Yeah, dogs. It's called dogs. And you get some really good loot and stuff like that.
Mm.
The other thing I would say is that like yeah.
I think that's a podcast,
Like
actually.
the other major thing I would sit there and say about it is like you're playing the game and you're like, okay, like I won't get good loot, and then you get better loot and you're like, huh. And then you get better loot and then you're like, huh. And then you get really good loot and you're like, huh. Like I need to play it more. I need to play it a lot more and stuff like that actually. I think I want to go through it again and do the other layers. But it just feels so fun. And I love how it plays. That's just my opinion. Yeah, and then I will have all of the level 1 exotics, I think. For Destiny 1. Hooray.
Hooray!
Hooray! The other thing I would say about Destiny 2 is they have a new 400 armor. You can get a 400 armor set of armor. Woohoo.
Oh, yet another one.
Oh boy. Yeah. More gear. More gear. It's convenient. If that makes sense. Now, we have to move topics.
Do we have more topics? Because I didn't know I thought we were going to be done here real soon. I'm like sputtering.
Josh, do you have another topic?
I'm kind of just sputtering out at this point.
Do you guys want to do... Let's not do the topics then.
What are they? Just bring them up real quick. What are they?
Well, we talked about World of Warcraft. We talked about Destiny. We talked about Fortnite. No, I think we're good. I think we're good. We talked about
Yep.
Pokemon Quest.
Yep.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Pokemon Quest is the shampoo of video games. Lather, rinse, repeat.
We did we talk about Gundam Unicorn not being in a Ready Player One? Oh, we did once before, I think.
We may have.
That's still the most upsetting thing for me. Like the
That they
most
couldn't get the
perfect
license for
Gundam. Yeah, I think that
There was like a few things in that movie they couldn't get the license for, and in the last minute they switched to something else.
Yeah.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like what was it? I think the big main surprise scene of the entire Ready Player One was what was it? The Shining, but it was actually meant to be Blade Runner. Like when I first learned of that, I was like, oh. They didn't want their name to be associated with a bad movie.
Ready Player One?
That's what it sounded like to me, or that they think it was going to be a bad movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, this is new. Real life build drivers working prototype. That's. Yeah. Cool. I might be happy. I don't know. Anyways. I think we're done
Yeah,
here.
I think we're done. I think we're just like at this point we're just.
I think we're
The car's running out of fuel.
eventually the podcast is just gonna die.
And all you hear is my slide whistle slowly in the background.
Josh is just gonna shoot me.
They're going to shoot you with the dart. Hold on. See if I can find my slide whistle. I know
Anyways,
it's over here.
I'm gonna. Yeah.
Take your dog
Thank
for a
you,
walk
everyone,
and just
for-
relax for the night. Go
Yeah,
play some
maybe.
games of catharsis and just conquer the world and stuff like that.
Go murder people. Destiny.
Go murder people and video games. I mean,
I like how 2 of my friends are playing 2 different games. But yeah, that's what we're gonna do. Thank you, everyone, for listening to the Black Mind podcast. I hope that you guys had a good show. I hope you enjoyed the show. You can listen to us on YouTube. You can watch us on YouTube or listen to us on YouTube. Just background music. You can also listen to us on podbean.com because you're special and you love that website. I know you do. Or your podcasting app of choice. Hope everyone had a good night. Hope everyone has a good week. Yeah, and thank you to my hosts. Have a good night, guys.
Chatter, I know. Still would be nice to sync because I got a feeling that this is going to be one of those heavy podcasts. And before we do anything stupid, forget about it. Let's just get the sync done, and then we can do idle chatter.
What are you talking about, stupid shit? Shit, Allan. What are you talking about?
I have.
By the way,
I have no idea what you want to talk about. That's the thing that worries me because I'm like usually pretty good caught up on the up to date and stuff like that, but. I mean, I know what I'm going to talk about today. I got one thing political to talk about. But besides that, I'm pretty much fucking solid for this week.
Throw it in the topic list, bud. Josh, do you have any topics?
Not really. I just don't do anything interesting anymore. Like, fuck.
Josh doesn't do anything interesting. Well, you could have been learning bolts. Actually, no, you couldn't have.
No.
Your life is just that boring.
I just literally go home, play Fortnite, or other video game, and go to bed.
We need to get you a Switch.
We need to get you like a Switch and then just like a week off from work.
Well, he needs to get this job first.
Yep.
And then if Josh gets the stupid job, holy fuck, that's a big spider. I just looked over and there's this massive spider right there. Fuck, man. All right. Let's sync. Sync in 3, 2, 1.